Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan calling out Kamala Harris for busing people into her rallies. Joe Rogan is providing some proof via cell phone data and a podcast that's on Instagram that goes by the name of, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's FLECCA. I follow these guys myself. They do some great stuff. I follow them on Instagram. Haven't seen them anywhere else, but he's going to be showing you some of that. And yeah, let's call out Kamala Harris here because it's crazy to think she's not busing people in when there's literal buses coming in. They did it with immigrants. Why wouldn't they do it with people who are coming to her rallies? I'm going to show you a bunch of that after the Joe Rogan clip. Let's hop right into it.
It's like a bunch of actors are running it. That's what it's like, because that's what they're really like. What politicians are like actors are not quite good looking enough to get into movies and television shows. They can't host Entertainment Tonight, but they can read off a teleprompter, you know, and they can do a good look. Kamala Harris had one good read off a teleprompter, and she shot up in the polls. That's the power of just a performance when you want to believe something. You want to believe.
That's true. I mean, I don't believe anything anymore. You know, I can't.
I was watching this. These guys were breaking down. You know, they can track cell phones. They can figure out like whose cell phone was there. They can get metadata. And they were talking about these Kamala Harris rallies, about how organized they are. These people are coming in on buses, and many of them have been to multiple rallies. And that when this one local one, like 80% of the people came from somewhere else, and they were all bussed in. And,
how do they know that?
Well, I'll send this to Jamie because this one I actually have. But I think they know it because of you could track data on a phone now.
Oh, they're doing the geofencing stuff?
I don't know exactly how they do it, but they're doing something in which they can tell when your phone has been in an area. Okay, I found this guy's. I found his the other video. Yeah, here, I'll show it to you, Jamie, because it's even grosser hearing it come out of this guy's mouth.
This is an hour-and-a-half video on his YouTube channel that I think it's taken from.
Yeah, but this is the clip. I'm sending you the clip from Instagram for whatever. I don't know if Instagram's hiding it. I don't know what's happening, but
they wouldn't do that.
It was on it's on his Louder with Crowder page. That's why.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. God, I hate looking up things on my phone in the middle of a show, but sometimes you have to. So these guys, what they were showing is that. Oh, here it is. That people, it's just very organized, and people are being bussed in. And, is that okay? Is that ethical? I mean, maybe just making it more convenient for them to go to the Kamala Harris rally. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you are organizing crowds, like, say if you do a game show, like if you host a game show, Wheel of Fortune. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Those people are all paid. Most of them, or sometimes you let fans do it for like a very popular show. But I have personally been on a lot of shows where the audience is paid. So
interesting.
It's basically like if you're filming a sitcom, you can, and nobody knows what the sitcom is. There's a company that you can hire, and you pay the audience to come in, and the people cheer. They have an applause sign. Everybody cheers. They laugh when you tell them to laugh. Like there's a guy in the audience that's like doing this to them that the people at home don't see. So it's all theater, right? So they could do that same strategy for a political rally.
Yeah.
Easily. If you're talking about all the money you're going to be in control of when you are the president of the United States, which is a spectacular position. Not just that, but then all the money you're going to make in appearances and forever, right? You're going to do Goldman Sachs talks and make $500,000 for no apparent reason. There's so much money involved. You don't think you would pay audiences to come and cheer? That's cheap.
Yeah,
That's cheap.
I don't know. Do you think that's immoral?
Well, I think we have like very loose rules on what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do.
All right, I'm going to flip over to the next clip. What do you guys think? If is that immoral or not? I think it is. I think it's very immoral. Here's the thing. You can say, oh, I just want my rally to be full. But you know what you really want? You want to shape public opinion. That's what you're really looking to do. You're trying to make people think I am doing way better than I actually am. And that way, if you win, no one will question it because they'll have all those rallies to look back to and say, well, people were showing up. Meanwhile, if nobody was showing up and you won, people would be like, what in the hell is going on here? That's just me. Let's get into this next clip.
I'm not in a war zone.
They're pissed.
They should be pissed. So this is from an Instagram account. I don't know what podcast this clip came from, but let's just play it.
Rally. 5,003 mobile devices at Kamala Harris's rally in Charlotte, North Carolina on Thursday afternoon. It appears over 3,600 came from Georgia, mainly Atlanta, Georgia, and approximately 720 from Savannah, Georgia. So that's a North Carolina rally with almost 80% of the attendees being from Georgia.
After you do the math, that's only 600 or so local people from North Carolina that attended. That's all who shows up, and you're planning to what, get 80-something million votes again? Something ain't right. And then all these people come from buses, and it's kind of weird because at the Trump events, you don't really have like organized buses like that. People just kind of show up and park on their own. But at the Kamala rally, there's just these lines of buses at every event, which is weird. And a lot of the people are also the same people that attend multiple rallies. Can you read those tweets?
Any of the same ones from previous events, because this guy's tracking the cell phones, I guess, and he says 90% have been to 3+ rallies, 54% were even at Arizona and Nevada rallies.
Now,
So it's
it could be that she is so popular that it's like Swifties. They just follow her around. Or it could be like, the Grateful Dead was in the 1970s. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe she's just so amazing all of a sudden. Maybe Stella got her groove. Something happened and she just kicked into gear and now she's her best self.
Yeah.
Her best self. She's going to be the president. Yay, let's go to these rallies.
I'm sure that's what's going on.
Could be that. It could. It could be that.
I don't think it's really immoral.
I don't think it's immoral.
It's just a
cheating.
rally.
Well,
everybody wants their rally to be full. I mean, it's a facade, man. It's just a facade.
If you can do it for a game show, you could do it for a political event. I don't think it's immoral. I think if they did give her the questions and they really did, and this is someone signed an app.
Okay. So that's where it ends there, where they stop talking about that. If you could do it for a game show, you could do it for a political event. I think that's no. A game show. It's a game show. Who cares? That doesn't really, it might degrade people's minds. It might cause brain rot and all that stuff. But it's definitely not shaping public opinion on who they should be voting for. You know what I mean? It's completely different when it's a political rally. 100% immoral. Because it's funny because in this clip, so Joe Rogan's saying if you can do it for a game show, you can do it for a political rally. Not true. And then Sean Ryan is saying, I don't think it's immoral. It's just a facade. But in politics, if you're a facade, if everything about you, from your support to who you are to your race, is a facade, that's immoral. That's a huge problem. It's a gigantic problem. So it's just funny that they're saying that. One other thing I noticed, are you guys noticing this? A couple of people who I talked to on X who watch the show and reach out to me. I try to answer as much as I can. But a couple of people I talked to, they're like, yo, what's going on with Jamie? Like, people are starting to realize whenever there's some Kamala stuff and Joe's not even going, Jamie, look this up anymore. He's saying, I have it here. I'm going to send it to you. You know what I mean? It's like, is there some kind of Jamie won't look it up? Because when Jamie says he can't find something and then I find it within 10 seconds of looking for it, I'm kind of like, I'm just way better than Jamie at it. Jamie's really busy. I don't know. But it's interesting that when it's this anti-Kamala stuff, Joe has to send it to Jamie. There's a lot of that. Watch throughout these episodes that you're seeing. In the past 3 months, 6 months even, to, going into the future, Joe is now saying, I got it. I'll send it to you. Or what Joe used to do, he would say, can you find this? Jamie would say, I can't find it. And Joe would say, I have it. I'll send it to you. Now he's just straight up, I'll send it to you. Don't worry. I got it. And he's looking stuff up. He's letting dead air happen on his podcast just so he can look things up. It's very interesting. So maybe there's something going on there. So it's like a deep state JRE war. Joe's combating the CIA that's in his podcast. Jamie's not CIA, guys. Come on. I think he's just left. I think he's just very left leaning. He doesn't talk about his politics whatsoever, but I think at the same time, he doesn't want to be too anti-Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. I think he's just a very left-leaning guy. I think that's what it really is. I don't think he's a handler like a lot of people think. Listen to this video.
Okay, could you guys imagine if all of a sudden we found out that there were people being paid to go to political rallies? Like, imagine if, like, PACs supporting Trump were paying people, flying people out, paying for their food, their transportation, hotels, to go to rallies in these states to make it look like there's more people there that support him than they really do. Like, they're just being paid. Oh, wait. Kamala Harris is actually doing that, and I have proof that they're doing it, and it's insane. It's really insane. Well, here's a casting billboard from Casting Network. Submissions were due yesterday for non-union actors, virtual auditions for real people for a Democratic event. So outside of being paid, there's also a per diem for meals and transportations, and they'll pay for flight and expenses to get to said event. If there's one thing that this shows me, it's that the whole Harris campaign ground game is a facade. If they're willing to literally pay for an all expense paid trip and pay people to just attend the rallies. Okay, could you guys?
Very interesting stuff. And I don't doubt it. Quite honestly, I don't doubt it. I mean, I remember hearing this back in Hillary Clinton days that she was using a service. Now, I don't know for sure, but there were people speculating that she was using a service called Rent-A-Crowd. And that's what was going on with her when she was running against Trump. So I know that these things exist. You know, I've worked in film and television. Like that person that Joe Rogan's talking about, that's like, they're called like a warm-up guy. And they will actually, in between commercial breaks, they'll be like, okay, I want to hear an applause. Okay, let's hear, okay, go. And they'll applause. And he'll be like, okay, louder. When I say, when Jimmy walks out, it has to be louder. Like he actually preps them on how to applause and how to laugh and everything. Called a warm-up guy. They get paid really, really good too. All right, there's another one.
So I just left my nail salon, and my nail tech, I've been going there for 15 years, so they're like family to me. But they said that their one cousin is in South Philly, and listen to this. She is getting paid $700 a week to go to wherever Kamala's campaign tells them to go to. So it's $100 a day, $700 a week. And she's not even a citizen. She can't vote, but she wants that extra money, so that's why she's doing it. So their campaign is getting a bunch of people. That's why you see these people on the side of the roads with signs or whatever, going to these protests. They get travel paid for and everything, and they're not even able to vote. So they're just standing there with signs for no fucking reason for $100 a day. I can't. I had to share with you guys.
Wow. Very, very interesting information from a lady that looks like my wife. Now, yeah, again, this has been something people have been talking about for a long, long time. Here's a little bit of a imagery from the buses that people are talking about. Look at this whole line. This whole line. 1 bus, 2 bus, 3 bus, 4, 5, at least 5, 6 buses. Very interesting. A lot of people there. Are all these people getting paid? Maybe, maybe not. But who wouldn't do this? If you were even vaguely a Kamala Harris supporter, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you follow all the way through? That's one video. Here's another video here. Kamala Harris's rallies would be empty if they weren't forced to bus people in. This is hysterical. Here, let's check this one out.
For Kamala's rallies, they even have to bus people in to see her. Here's a tweet about a recent Kamala rally. The Kamala Harris campaign has told people at the rally they can't leave because the buses they use to bus people in from out of state are not operational for another 30 minutes. The announcement just came over the speakers at the rally, and the crowd, already waiting in line, cried no. Here is video of the buses. It is reported that 12 buses were used to transport people to the rally. No one buses anyone to Trump's rallies. People drive themselves.
That's a fact. That's 100% a fact. People come far and wide. Now, you know, could possibly, I know for a fact people who sell merchandise, they do go from Trump rally to Trump rally. Could somebody else do that as well? Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, if there was someone in Trump's campaign who made something like this, wouldn't the Democrats be wouldn't there be some leftist account that would be all over this if Trump did something like this, a casting call for real people for a Democratic event? Wouldn't they be all over it? Right? I don't know. I haven't seen anything myself. Let's move on to the next clip here. Now, this is, I believe this is Milwaukee. Let me make sure. 12, New Hampshire. There you go. New Hampshire. So there's a whole bunch of this. Now, a lot of people, this is when a lot of people started catching wind of what was going on at Kamala Harris's rally, because these buses stuck out like a sore thumb.
Kamala Harris is in New Hampshire. It kind of became news this week. No details. Northampton, New Hampshire, at a brewery, Northampton. And yet I'm getting, and it's a New Hampshire event. Northampton happens to be in New Hampshire. We're getting listener calls, eyewitness accounts that buses on Route 1 are coming in from Massachusetts, full of Massachusetts people, one would presume, going to the event. Sue Polidor, one of our listeners, witnessing this on Route 1 this morning. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jack. I so happened to have an appointment in Hampton, and I was greeted with this lovely event. Lots of yellow buses from a Yankee line. I must have counted at least half a dozen of them. And as I approached the area where the brewery is, the Department of Transportation created a parameter using just about every single truck they have in the area.
Every single truck they have in the area, all those buses in the area. You know, I'm not saying nobody shows up to Kamala Harris campaigns or rallies, sorry. But it's just a little bit suspect. Again, a lot of people, you know, their alarm bells went off when they saw what was going on in the small town. People were just on Facebook. Can I get some pictures? Here's 6 more. So apparently there was just dozens of these buses, or at least 1 dozen. Then there's a text message here. I'll read it, but, you know, it's a text. People can just text things and just screenshot it. I'm getting messages from listeners on the Seacoast who are flying or saying, FYI, that the people going to Harris's event in Northampton are coming in from Massachusetts on buses. They've counted 4 full buses of people from Massachusetts with license plates coming in, not New Hampshire voters. So interesting. Okay, so now they're noticing cars as well. So that actually makes a lot of sense, because in this video here, you're seeing tons of cars. This could just be people who are just pissed that so much of this is going on right now in their town, but it also could be a bunch of people who, again, are getting paid to be at these events. It's very, very interesting stuff. Okay, now let's move on to another one covering this exact thing.
So Kamala's original campaign strategy was to host free concerts and then call them rallies. It looks like that well has run dry, though, because now she's just forced to put people on buses and ship them in from out of state. Her recent so-called rally in New Hampshire saw about a dozen buses filled with people from Massachusetts. Why couldn't she get anyone from New Hampshire to show up? Only 2 months from the election, and Kamala Harris is forced to campaign in New Hampshire. Not exactly the best sign for a Democratic candidate for president, but to make matters worse, she literally couldn't get enough supporters in that state, so she had to bus them in to pretend that she has support.
Exactly. So there's a lot of this going on right now, and just a whole lot of coverage. This is in her rally in Santa Fe, Georgia. Let's check this one out.
It's been since 1992 since a presidential candidate came to Savannah, which was Bill Clinton in the hostess city. Now, at the Enmarket Arena itself, lines stretched around the venue, as I was just telling you, and people started getting here as early this morning for the vice president. But for those a little further away from the hostess city, shuttles to the rally contained a lot of excitement.
I was in Atlanta, and I heard that the vice president was going to be in Savannah, so I decided to just kind of beeline over here and check it out.
It is crazy at all, but catch this. It's been since 1992.
And it's interesting because he's like, I was just, over there, and I figured I'd just come over here. And it's like, okay. But there was a rally where you were. So you just figured you'd go to another one? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Kamala's doing some wild stuff on stage. I have no idea. Just saying. I have no clue what's going on. So this is another one. There's no sound. Is this basically the same one? Let me see if I see that guy with the glasses again. Yeah, that guy right there. Yeah, okay, I already saw this guy. So that's one of the same videos there. Let's check out this video here.
Well, behind me, hundreds of invited Harris supporters are leaving and boarding shuttle buses. This was a departure for Kamala Harris, leaving toss-up states to come to New Hampshire. Well, behind me...
Jumping onto shuttle buses. So, is it immoral? Again, you know where I stand on this. I think it's 100% immoral. This is not something... Oh, this one, I was going to speak over this one, but, you know, I was going to say this is something that's happened before. If you guys remember, I think it was about a month ago, there was a restaurant where people were just dining, the regulars, and then all of a sudden they all got kicked out. And they were like, why are we getting kicked out? It's midday. What's going on? And they got kicked out so Kamala Harris could actually bring in a bunch of people who are in these cars, not all of them, but who are in these little shuttle buses, little shuttle vans, and they were brought to the restaurant to make it seem like she was getting a warm reception when she walked into the place. So she made sure there was no one who was just a regular in the place. That establishment got hit hard in regards to business because they literally took their actual patrons of the bar, restaurant, bar and grill kind of thing, and kicked them all out. And then what did they do? When they figured out what was going on, they all assembled on the street like you see here with their Trump signs and started yelling at the Kamala caravan that was coming in.
They kicked us out of Primanti Brothers. They say it's a problem. You are terrible people.
Tell us again what happened at Primanti Brothers?
They kicked us out of Primanti Brothers so that they could get the paid actors inside.
Ridiculous.
Yes. So there's all the paid actors.
Look at all these people. My God.
Holy hell. All these actors in these vans. I know. They can't even afford actors.
Holy hell. They can't even afford actors. But yeah, they did kick out the people. That was a very bad move for that person that owns that place, I have to say. And then just roping it right back to what Joe was talking about to begin with. Cell phone data shows Kamala Harris rallies are astroturfed. If you don't know what astroturfed is, put it in layman's terms, it's just faked. You know, if all of a sudden, you know, a news outlet pops up out of nowhere and they are lying about everything, I don't know, like, you know, maybe MSNBC, something like that, then that would be considered astroturf. What she's doing at her rallies is considered astroturf. It's just basically a facade. Kamala Harris campaign has been busing supporters into rallies across the country to ensure that they fill each venue. Big data pioneer Tony Segura has been confirming this by tracking the cell phone data at each event, tracking the cell phones at each event. I'd love to know how he's doing this. Latest Madison rally included 9,300 phones, 487 staffers, 2,800 people from Georgia, 8,300 people of whom have been to 3 prior rallies. Wow. So this is pretty much confirmation here when you go through the cell phone data. It can be tracked. As we all know, Trump shooter, his cell phone data was tracked as well. So this stuff is pretty legit. I wish Joe asked Sean Ryan about this because he was a CIA contractor, so he probably could have explained it to Joe pretty well. Again, this is just actually the guy here. That's his name right there if you want to go follow him on X. Actually, I'm not following him. Boom. That guy's probably a great follow if he's doing this kind of thing. GPS, 9,300 mobile devices in the Alliant Energy Center in Madison today, 87. So he's just breaking it all down. So I guess this is just what he does. So somebody else asked a little bit of a question here. If cell phone data is private, how are they able to determine this? Genuine question. Person said cell phone data is actually very public, which is true, by the way. If you guys don't know, if you're not using VPNs and anything to help mitigate it, it's actually very public. You transmit a signal wherever you are with your phone with a 15-digit number. Your phone transmits called in IMEI. Realtors, advertisers, governments use it to determine how often you visit various locations. In this case, Kamala Harris rallies. Very interesting stuff. So that is what's happening right now. And let me just click on this, see what Tom's. Whoa. Okay, the remainder were from. Oh, this guy's really breaking it down. So he's breaking down every place that these people came from. Whoa. Jeez, come on. This, you see, when you're seeing a sample this big of all these different towns, all these different places, I don't think you're just seeing people who are supporters. You're seeing a sample size of people who need extra money. Like, why wouldn't you do? Look how many places. Jesus. Good Lord. This is crazy. I didn't even know you can make a tweet this big. Holy. Wow. So again, I retweet everything I use off of Twitter. Everything you've seen today has been off of Twitter. So I'm going to retweet each one of these. If you follow me on X at I am Coach Colin, you'll be able to see all this and jump into the rabbit holes yourself. Just wanted to bring you guys all this information. And what do you guys think? In the comment section, hit me up. Let me know if you think this is immoral or not. I'm in the camp where I do think it's immoral. If you think it's fine, let me know in the comment section. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. It helps us tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.